So what are your thoughts about the Houthi book, Zach?
Well, I'm very interested in it. I mean, one thing that jumps to my mind is just learning the biographical history of Houthi, and that was a very, just informative for me. This is not something that I knew a lot about, although I've been very sympathetic just as a fellow supporter of Palestine and Gaza. It's, this is a wonderful little pamphlet.
Okay. Tom, what about you? What's one thing that stood out to you?
Oh, just parallels with other movements at other times. The thing I was talking about before, that there's some similarity between the period of the Reformation, where it had so much to do with knowledge and the dissemination of knowledge. One thing that he didn't get to that I was thinking is that the technology of spreading knowledge, of sharing knowledge, is so profound now. That's got to be a lot of what is going on in many ways, and this whole thing of calling this postmodernism. Postmodernism is a very funny term, but it generally, postmodernism means to me the breaking down of order. It means, most basically, to get a handle on modernism and postmodernism. Modernism to me means right angles, windows are square with 90-degree angles, and architecture is symmetrical. You have a window here, a door in the middle, a similar window on the other side. Postmodernism is the breakup of all of that, where we start seeing houses in this very neighborhood that have like strange growths out of their side, and, strange asymmetries all over the place. Well, I think that's kind of what we're talking about when we talk about this in a social and a social change kind of thing. It's the breaking down of order, of symmetry, of balance of powers, that kind of stuff. So everything starts to explode and implode, and I don't know where I'm going.
Can I just add something on, because you inspired me a little bit?
Okay.
Well, just talking about the Reformation, you made a slight gesture to it, and information dissemination technologies. The chapter on the Arab Spring was really insightful in that regard. I think it's worth considering, although it seems like it's outside the bounds of this text. It would be worth discussing further sometime how postmodernism might result in some ways from a seemingly decentralized, but really actually pretty centralized new way of disseminating information, i.e. social media, the internet, etc.
Yeah.
That's just something to talk about later.
How about you, Richard? What is something you learned?
I think it's a really excellent history of the early parts of the movement, things that would not typically be covered in really any other external media source. Like if you wanted to know this stuff, you'd have to go dig up a book yourself or go deep read Wikipedia to talk about these individual people, their lives, and all of that. So the history of the Houthi movement, very, very interesting. I like that it covers and connects a bunch of different philosophical points and other ideas in different chapters. I'd love to see it tied together a little bit neatly. I know Caleb wrote the whole thing in like a couple of weeks, but the amount of material he got there was really impressive. I think a second edition that just puts a little bow on everything that he has would be amazing and would be great for the casual reading audience.
Okay. What about you, Gary? What's something that you learned or you liked about the Houthi book?
Well, like I kind of was mentioning before, I really kind of felt that how the whole thing started with just kind of educating the general population and the children, that they started with that foundation, and that foundation was so helpful to expand the movement and to build the movement over time to meet the different challenges that they faced from outside powers. So I thought that all of that was very informative, And I'd say that I was just, it's amazing to me that we did all this bombing and stuff, and then this latest administration of Trump's people, like, tried to do the same thing, and their rationale was even stupider than the people before them. And how did they ever think any of this was going to work? But now they backed off because they're just a bunch of fools. I don't have a lot of faith in any of that, but it's good to read a pamphlet that's grounded in reality.
Yeah. And what about you, Vivo? What did you learn? What did you learn, huh? Did you learn to eat snacks? Well, one thing that I really liked about the Houthi book is that it's compared to a picket line in the Red Sea, and that the Houthis, besides being a religious movement and educating the children, I would kind of compare it to the free breakfast program with the Black Panthers, and that they were fighting against austerity, and they built a grassroots movement, which is what we're trying to do with CPI. We're building an in real life movement, and we're starting with small groups, but we have the same mission, is that we want a government of action that fights for working families.